While the world slept, the American South began to sketch out a quiet turnaround. This isn't empty talk. It's a plan, a calculated risk, a real bet on engineering and purpose. Texas doesn't just speak out of pride, it takes action. And when it looks at the world, it recognizes that not everything starts there, but it has chosen not to wait for someone else to bring innovation. It decided to build its own. Something similar is already being experienced in other parts of the world. In Japan, for example, there's the concept of the Shinkansen, the bullet train that since 1964 has never recorded a single passenger fatality. Ultra-high-speed electric trains, guided by digital signaling, seismic sensors, and centralized control, cross the country in minutes. In Tokyo, on the Tokaido line, trains are already operating that have accumulated decades of punctuality and safety records. The Japanese model serves as both a reference and a direct inspiration. Not every system is simple to replicate. There are challenges related to terrain, cost, and integration with the existing urban network. It is along these global lines, but with a local identity, that the Texas Bullet Train is born, the Texas Central Project. Not to imitate, but to adapt, to test, to demonstrate. Yes, in the United States, it is also possible. Imagine between Dallas and Houston, about 386 kilometers. There, an electric train glides with precision on dedicated tracks that are elevated for most of the route. It is not an adapted highway, nor are they conventional tracks shared with freight trains. It is a dedicated line, with its own signaling and onboard technology. A high-speed corridor with the capacity for thousands of passengers per day, speeds of up to 330 kilometers per hour, and an estimated travel time of 90 minutes. These are the most common parameters in technical projections so far. It's not an exaggeration. These are targets to measure success. If everything goes well, the trip could be up to an hour faster than flying, when you factor in airport time, and up to 2 hours faster than driving on Interstate 45. But make no mistake, it won't be easy. There are uncertainties in financing, in negotiations with landowners along the route, in the final definition of the station in Dallas, and in the political support that fluctuates with each change of government. There is the risk of regulatory delays, the challenge of closing the financial package without the federal support that has already been withdrawn, and the need to maintain a highly demanding technological standard. For this reason, the project will continue to depend on private investors, under the supervision of state and federal agencies, with environmental approvals already secured, even though the plan already envisions a fully electric operation and automated signaling. With trains based on the N700S technology from Japan's Shinkansen, it will be possible to offer departures every 30 minutes during peak hours. The transition from paper to tracks will be gradual and measured. This method of controlled evolution signals institutional maturity. It is not arrogance, it is technical caution, it is humility in the face of risks, because major transformations are not made through improvisation, but through engineering, feasibility studies, and negotiation. When the world sees the Texas Bullet Train in operation, it will compare it to Japan's Shinkansen. Recall the Tokaido line, analyze the advantages and shortcomings of the Asian model, and ask, did they do it better? And then Texas will be ready to respond with data, not with applause. The project may not be the final masterpiece. There may be route adjustments. There may be delays, but every great leap begins with the first section completed, and this first section already carries national expectations. In the United States, many promising high-speed train projects died on paper due to too many promises and a lack of real funding. This project wants to be different. It doesn't need to shout to exist. It wants to show that it works, that it delivers, that it endures. The impact could be profound, reducing travel time between two of the largest metropolitan regions in the country, easing traffic on one of the most dangerous highways in the United States, decreasing pollutant emissions, increasing the productivity of those who currently spend hours on the road, and creating a mobility corridor that could expand to other parts of the country. And there is a symbolic effect. When the United States begins operating its first true high-speed train, the country will no longer be just a spectator of a technology that the rest of the world has already mastered. It becomes the protagonist of its own infrastructure again. But this protagonism demands coherence. Not promising deadlines that can't be met, not fueling exaggerated comparisons, not turning ambition into selling illusions. The key is to deliver something functional and inspiring and to learn from mistakes. If the train works well, it will become a model. If it faces problems, let them be shared as lessons. This is the spirit of technology that is truly open, to compare, to learn, to evolve. and Texas does not see itself as an isolated state. It wants to engage in dialogue with Japanese engineers, universities, and mobility companies. It wants to receive funding, adapt improvements, enhance signaling, safety, and service. Meanwhile, other regions are watching: the Northeast corridor between Washington, New York, and Boston, California, Arizona, and Mexico. All are paying close attention to what will come out of Texas's elevated tracks. In the coming years, every closed financing phase, every parcel of land acquired, every kilometer of track laid will be visible, will make the news, and will serve as a starting point. This project is not about regional pride, it's about national ambition with common sense. It's about showing that, even without guaranteed federal support, it's possible to try, that engineers, investors, and international partners can create solutions that engage with the world and point to a country that doesn't wait to be copied, but wants to learn and teach. When the first passenger crosses that route between Dallas and Houston in 90 minutes, the world will stop to watch, not to applaud, but to understand, to see if it's viable, if it endures, if it becomes an example. And if it does become one, it won't be because of the name Texas, but because of the value it delivers: efficient, sustainable, real mobility. Because meaningful innovation isn't sustained by marketing, it's sustained by numbers, by people, by impact. The bullet train is this experiment, a firm step on tracks that still depend on a lot of negotiation. And this step could redraw the map of mobility in the United States. It's a time to observe, analyze, and, if possible, be inspired. Not to copy blindly, but to adapt, evolve, and use. The future could be born between Dallas and Houston. It could extend all the way to Fort Worth, and could serve as an answer for American regions tired of infrastructure promises that never leave the drawing board. And if everything goes right, it will be remembered not for its name, but for what it accomplished, proving that in the United States, it is also possible to build the next chapter of rail mobility.